Chapter 38. The Rite of DURVÂK-THULNAR. The silence that followed Selenya's entrance was almost a physical phenomenon. Dense, contained, as though the very audience hall had stopped breathing. The torches shuddered with a slight shift of air, casting elongated shadows that seemed to bow before her. At her side walked Lyanna, her hawk firmly perched upon her arm, and a few steps behind came Kale and Dren, all of them tense beneath the weight of the moment, yet unable to fully conceal their relief at seeing the rest of the group alive. Alden felt a tightness grip his chest. He had not expected to see them so soon. He had not expected to see them there, at that precise instant, when the burden of the king's judgment had begun to tear at his insides. But there they were, and for a brief moment, the world seemed to fall into place. Selenya stopped 3 paces from the throne. She bent her knee slightly, a gesture of respect, not submission, and inclined her head just enough. "Your Majesty, Durin Hramson," she greeted, her voice soft yet clear. "I thank you for allowing my presence in your hall." A murmur rippled through the dwarven counselors, but the king remained still, narrowing his eyes with a mixture of weariness and distrust. "The Oracle of Arendor leaves her temple and appears in my hall," he growled. "That has not happened since my great-grandfather's time. What urgent cogs of fate have turned to bring you here?" Selenya met his gaze. Her eyes, a deep, almost translucent blue, seemed to hold the reflection of ancient seas. "Precisely those, my lord," she replied. "The cogs of fate have turned, and this meeting was meant to be." The king rubbed his face, exhaling with a blend of heaviness and irritation. "By the beards of my ancestors," he muttered, "you people never speak plainly. Always verses, metaphors, riddles." He shot an aggrieved look at the counselor beside him. "This is why I hate these audiences." The counselor cleared his throat, offended. "My lord, decorum." Yes, I know," the king snapped, waving a hand. "Very well, Oracle. Spare me the riddle. What is it you've come to say?" Selenya allowed herself the faintest hint of a smile, gone as quickly as it appeared. "That the youth before you is the true bearer of the mark," she declared, "that the prophecies have awakened, and that the sword of dawn, hidden for generations, has chosen to return to the light. All of Myranthel must stand with him if it wishes to survive the shadow that advances." A heavy murmur surged through both groups of counselors. The king did not move. He only looked at Alden. "And you expect," he said in a tone caught between disbelief and hardness, "that I should accept without question that this boy, this son of the blood of Arden Galathor, is the hope of my people?" The air grew thick as lead in Alden's lungs. Beside him, Sarah clenched her jaw. Selenya answered with the calm of an icy current. "I do not expect you to accept it blindly, only to see the truth that already stands before you." Durin leaned both hands upon the arms of his throne. "The blood that runs through his veins," he said gravely, "is the same blood that set entire valleys ablaze, the same blood that drove my people behind walls and stone giants, the same blood that sought to erase the elves of Elendor. That blood turned a man into a monster. Why should I believe it will not do the same to him?" A piercing silence followed. Alden felt the old wound tear open once more in his chest. Selenya stepped closer to the throne and did not rush her words. Her eyes sought Alden for a brief instant before she answered the king's unspoken question. "My lord," she said, her voice filling every recess of the hall, "there is something more I wish to declare before you." The king tilted his head wary. "I invoke the ancient dwarven rite," Selenya said. "DURVÂK-THULNAR, the trial of blood and stone." Gasped exclamations followed, hands tightening around axes and hammers, alarmed glances crossing between the counselors. The king straightened slightly. "Only a descendant of Durvâk may invoke that rite," he growled, "and unless my memory fails me," his eyes fixed upon Alden. "The boy is not one." Durin stepped forward. His voice was a roar held in check for years. "Not him," he said. "Me." The entire hall held its breath. Durin lifted his chin. "I, Durin," he declared, "son of Thuran, dwarven warrior, bearer of the blood of Durvâk, I invoke DURVÂK-THULNAR and challenge King Durin according to the laws of tradition." Absolute silence fell. and Selenia smiled. The tension broke the moment they crossed the threshold of the hall. It was as though the air itself had been holding its breath and finally released it. Alden let out a long breath and, without thinking, surged forward to Kale and Lyanna, wrapping them both in an embrace filled with relief, emotion, and a deep, steady joy. Kyle grunted theatrically. "Hey, careful," he complained, though his return hug was solid. "We're out there risking our lives, and you're playing tourist with the dwarves." Alden laughed softly. "Tourist, huh?" Lyanna rested a warm, gentle hand on his arm. "We're glad to see you well, Alden," she said, in that calm voice that seemed to set the world in order. Dren folded his arms. Yes, and no one mentions my contribution. I suppose I'll survive your ingratitude." Alden and Kale eyed him suspiciously. Lyanna let out a quiet laugh. Alden turned to Selenia. "I'm glad you're all right," he said sincerely, "and that you're here. You couldn't have arrived at a better moment." The Oracle inclined her head, studying him with that gaze that made anyone feel half exposed beneath it. "I am glad to see you as well, Alden of Hearthglen," she replied. "And yes, you have grown, in more ways than one. That pleases me." Alden felt a mix of embarrassment, pride, and a strange heat stirring in his chest. Then his gaze found Doran. The dwarf stood a short distance away, sharpening his resolve more than his weapons. "Doran," Alden began, concern in his voice, "are you sure about this? You don't have to do it for me. There must be another way to convince King Doran." Doran shook his head without turning. "I'm doing this for myself," he said, "and for my father." Alden smiled, filled with both sadness and admiration. Fate moved forward without pause, and now the next step rested upon Doran's shoulders.